Welcome back to another week of On the Couch with Dan and Dane. And today we're going to talk about what is the number one frustration with property investors.
Mate, pet peeves. It's a good one because obviously we speak to dozens and dozens and dozens of people every single year who are going through this journey. And oftentimes the obstacles or the challenges that people let themselves put in front of them. We're not talking about the market challenges or anything like this. This is self-imposed challenges that people are putting in their way to prevent them from being really successful as property investors. What's your big one, mate?
Mate, people being too busy for it. You're the most important able seaman in the Navy at the moment. You're running around where I always look at it, well, property prices aren't going to wait for you. That's all right, man, you've got to do your shifts and so on and so forth. Like, you need to start in here and now. And that might be just undertaking your strategy sessions or sitting down and go, well, I'm going to start actually saving and starting putting this money aside. The longer you put it off, the harder it's going to be, right? So that's probably my number one. Make sure you've got some motivation, because in the end, it's going to be your future that you're trying to look after. Like Dan and I, we're fine. So it's going to really change your life, but I'll be on to the next person and talking to them, right? And making sure that I can secure their future. But it takes some motivation from yourself to go, all right, well, I need to take charge of this, because the ADF isn't going to do it for you, right? So you need to make sure that you are rowing this canoe, okay? What about yourself, man?
Mate, probably the biggest one or the biggest frustration that I see or believe is people start thinking, I am going to start with my dream home. I'm going to start with the forever home as my first footprint. A lot of the time, like, we would all love to live in 500 square meter McMansions on multiple acres of land. But at the end of the day, that shit costs money. And if you're right at the beginning of your investing journey or your property journey, let's say you're a first home buyer, right? The likelihood is, unless you're earning $500,000 a year each, you're not going to be able to afford it. It takes time to build up with that. And the property that you're buying to get into the market right at the beginning is going to be vastly different to the last one. And you're going to have to build up to it. You don't start with that McMansion. You start with the little house that is just going to make you money. That's all you need to do. You get in the market, let the market do its job. And over time, you will. You do the right things. You pay off your house. You make sure your interest rate's always low. You make sure your rent's going up. If you're really diligent about what you do with your properties over the next 30 years, by the time it comes where you've finished your career in the military, the postings have stopped, so you're not moving every 2 years, you're not potentially deploying, like, your kids have moved out of home, what your life looks like when it comes time to buy that forever home that you retire into and you're fat, dumb, and happy with is very different to the property that you're going to buy today. So start with what you need today and focus on what you need in the future.
All right, great piece of advice there. That's it for this week. See you next week on the couch.